Hello and happy new year. Welcome to 2026 and the first episode of Leading You. I'm so happy to be in your ears and I'm incredibly grateful that you have chosen to listen in once again in a brand new year, which is something that we're going to get into today. So, I hope you had a really lovely Christmas. And if you are on holidays, I hope that you are having a fun and relaxing time doing what you love. This January, for Leading You is like unbelievable. I have got a really important series for you to set you up for the new year, to set you up for success. A really grounded and intentional 2026 from the get-go. So we're going to be talking very much about mental health, strength, and resilience with Cooper Chapman. And then he is a pro surfer and the author of the 1% Good Club. So he is fantastic. Then we are chatting to Preeti Inchodi. She's a very high level senior executive mum and wife who last year broke her foot so severely it forced her to pause and to relinquish control. We're going to talk to her about that and how she worked through it and what she found was really important through the power of a forced pause. We're also going to be chatting to Dr. Paul Taylor, and he is a dynamo. He's chatting to us about hardiness, which is something really fresh and a new perspective on resilience. And it's really looking at stress and anxiety in a very different way. He's fabulous. And then I'm coming back in and we're talking about routine, because routine is something that is so important, especially at this time of year, to get it set up and to become a habit, so that when the busyness and life gets back to normal, you have set yourself a really great routine. So that's what's coming up for you in January. And I'm really excited about it for you and also for me, because I benefit from this as well. So, and then I just thought I'd mention very quickly, flipping into February, I have Jackie Lane, who is incredible. If you are wanting to write a book, if you are thinking about it, she is someone who is joining us to offer lots of hints and tips in terms of how to get started and what to be thinking about when you are publishing a book. So that's a fantastic episode as well. Now, on to today's episode. Early January sits in a really weird place. It sits in between sort of like that franticness of Christmas time where there's mega catch-ups, everyone wants to see you, and Christmas happens, the presents, all of that, all the rush of December. And then this early part of February sort of sits in between the end of Jan, start of Feb, where things get back to normal. Everything's quiet. So many people are on holidays, enjoying a break, taking time off with the kids who are on school holidays. The traffic's really light around the normal areas where it's really heavy. Down peninsula ways, beaches, country towns, it can be really heavy. But particularly around here in Richmond, where I am, it's so quiet. I absolutely love this time of year. And it's a really great moment to pause and to take a breath. It's like time is standing still to enable you to do that. So this is a perfect time for thinking and reflecting. And this potty, I want to serve as setting an intention for 2026 for you. There can be huge pressure, to hit the ground running. You need your goals done. You need your vision done, a 90-day plan. So when you flip that calendar over, you can just hit the ground running and start now. And look, good on you if you've done that. I absolutely applaud you. But today, let's simply talk about intention. And so I can give you some ideas in terms of how to do that for yourself. So as soon as the calendar clicks over to January, I see it as a completely blank canvas. And it's one to color in and design or graffiti even as you like. So I find that so incredibly empowering when we're looking at like a blank canvas, a blank year, so that the year can be anything that you want it to be. And I am no artist, but I can paint my canvas in a way that I want to paint it and in alignment with who I am and what I stand for, just for me, no one else. So this canvas in my mind, I do this every year. And there's no pressure to please anyone. There's no pressure to prove or to compete with anyone else. This is not an exercise for AI. This is not a chatty chat exercise. This is an exercise for you and your thoughts. So your mind loves a good question. And with a good question comes a good response. Not necessarily immediately, but definitely in time if you keep asking, maybe the same question in a different way if you're not getting the response immediately. So asking yourself, what your canvas should look like at this time of year is a really great space to be in. And it's a really good time to think about it. So my canvas for 2026 is painted in different shades of red. So you may have noticed that I changed my branding to like a deep reddy pink last year because red is my favorite color. I should have worn red today, but red is my favorite color. And it's something that I'm very drawn to because I feel as though it aligns with my passion for life and passion for what I do. It aligns to one of my key values, which is courage. So I see red as a real courageous color. It's also for, I believe, stepping out of your comfort zone. And it's very much, people say that red can be overpowering, but I see it as a really powerful color, really stepping into who you are and what you stand for is really powerful. And I just love that color red and all the different shades of it. So I'm going to be painting my canvas with that. However, strategically on there's going to be white space because I love white space. And white space probably matters even more than the red because white space is my reminder to pause, to breathe, to avoid the busyness, to be. So the red can be very much around the doing. The white for me is very much around the being. And it's incredibly important to be reminded of that when we get back into 2026 and life as normal. So that's why I have the white coming into my canvas as well, because pausing for me every single day is not only strategic, but it helps me to adjust the lens that I'm seeing life through if I need to. It helps me up my game and it helps me see what is really going on in my landscape. And with AI becoming more and more prevalent in our workspace, we need to be doing that more often. And if we are not pausing, we're going to be left behind. That is why white is in my canvas. So if you were going to paint your canvas, if you were going to grab a paintbrush or a spray can, whatever it is for you, what colors are you going to paint that? And what does it mean to you, those colors? How is it aligned to who you are and what you stand for? How is it aligned to what you want to achieve this year? And what do they represent for you in this season of your life? So you might have lots of white space because you really need to be pausing a lot more often, recalibrating where you're going. You might be going through a big season of change this year. What does it look like for you? And let that sit. There's no rush. But painting that in your mind, asking your mind that question is a really, really empowering thing to do. And now in 2026, I'm choosing not to have just a word this year. And last year I had a color, and my color was gold. And my words have been, something that have been really empowering and inspiring to me. This year I'm choosing to go with a statement. So in 2026, I choose to lead myself first, even when it feels unfamiliar. That is my statement. Now, the reason that I've chosen that is I just find that it's going to work for me more next year, because next year I need to be stepping out of my comfort zone a lot more. There's going to be a lot of the unfamiliar. It's probably not going to feel good all the time, but I need to lead myself through it. And it's not that I need to, it's because I choose to. So I choose to lead myself first, even when it feels unfamiliar. So it's if I'm meeting new people, working with new clients, starting new programs, speaking on new stages, I choose to lead myself first. So I will always show up as my best self because I choose to lead myself first. I find that really empowering, and that means something to me in terms of what I'm wanting to achieve next year. So what might be a statement for you? And, if a word works better for you, that's great. If a color even works better for you, that's great as well. But we need to remember it, because it's really funny. Like, we come up with these amazing statements and words and colors at the start of the year, and then by March we forget it. It's like, what's my word? What's my color? This is how you can remind yourself of the highest intention of what you're wanting to achieve. So whether you have a simple sticky note, like a screensaver, whether it's something you journal about every morning, something you meditate on, whatever it is for you, but this needs to be like a reminder. Because, in this world that we are living in, everything is shifting so fast. Technology, AI, roles are changing. Roles are being absorbed into other roles. The way we work and communicate is changing, and it needs to change. Many people feel unsure, they feel threatened, or they feel that they're behind. That is really normal, but it also makes self-leadership more important than ever. And the world will keep changing. That is our certainty. Death, taxes, change are our certainty. And our job is to stay connected to who we are inside of that, and also who we're becoming, right? Because we're going to keep evolving. We need to keep evolving through all of this change. So it's really important to be connected to who we're stepping into. And I invite you to really think about your statement, if that works for you, or your word or your color, whatever works. But for me, I'm going with a statement this year. Not a long list, just one sentence. So some statements for you might be, in 2026, I choose to trust myself. And that is huge, because if you trust yourself, that instills confidence. You back yourself. That means that you get up when the alarm goes off in the morning. You get to that gym. You stick to your habits. You stick to your routine. Uphold your boundaries. That's where you create trust with yourself. So that's a massive one. In 2026, I choose courage over comfort. That's stepping outside of your comfort zone. That's trying new things, using your voice. That is speaking up in meetings. That is positioning yourself differently at work. So that's incredibly empowering as well. In 2026, I choose clarity over chaos. That means letting go of busy, like not doing busy or not doing chaos. I'm choosing clarity. I am choosing to be aligned to who I am and what I stand for and communicate that way and behave in that way. In 2026, I choose to evolve, not disappear. And that's for those who feel like that they're shrinking or that they're stuck. And if you're feeling that way, you should really check out my group mentoring program. In 2026, I choose to please me first, and it isn't selfish. And this is for all the people pleasers out there who are so focused on pleasing everyone else, it comes at the consequence to themselves, to their mental health, to their rest, to their sleep habits. And choosing you is not selfish. I can assure you of that. And it's something that we need to do to be the best version of us that we can be. So, given all of that, painting our canvas, you might write your statement on your canvas as well with all the colors around it. I can see mine with my colors and my white space. There's a real nice balance there. If only I could paint it the way I see it for real. Let me ask you this for 2026. What parts of you are ready to be seen more? Where have you been playing small without even realizing it? So your statement can elevate you and your colors on your canvas. What is one way that you can lead yourself differently this year? We don't have to do a gazillion things. It might be one simple tweak that is going to make such a big difference in your world. What does more human look like for you in a world that is getting more automated? That might be the way you show up in meetings, how you prepare, how you speak to your team, any content that you put out on LinkedIn. People are craving humanness. They're craving story. So how can you sound more human in a world that sounds very much the same and like it's AI? And if someone was watching how you live this year, at work, professionally and personally, what would you want them to learn from you? What are you role modeling? That's a massive question. All of these questions tie directly into legacy, but that one is a massive one. And I'm not asking you to come up with the answers right now. I just want you to be present and maybe replay this and ask yourself those questions and journal on them. They're really empowering questions. That's something that I've been doing. So this is the thought-provoking gold for you for 2026. So you don't need a full plan. You don't need certainty. You just need that brush and the courage to brush that first stroke. In 2026, I choose to lead myself first, even when it feels unfamiliar. And now I invite you to choose yours. So I really appreciate being in your ears for another year. This is our 8th year. We started in 2018, so it's incredible. So grateful for you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, and if you think someone else would enjoy this, please share it with them. So I look forward to seeing you very soon.